TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? We are back again. It is week 17. It is championship Sunday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a safe and happy New Year's Eve. Hope everybody's not too hungover after last night, but we are here and we are rocking with us. Cody is out of town. He is traveling with the family, so it is just me today. So let's get right into it. We got a lot of questions already in the chat. And I do want to say really quickly, I do appreciate all the support this year, everybody rocking with us. It has been an awesome year, and I hope everybody ends this season on a high note. But don't forget, we will be running our fantasy playoff challenge, which is absolutely free. You just have to be in our Discord. So that's all you're going to need to do that. And there's some prizes there. It's absolutely free to play, asking for nothing else. Just have to be in the Discord just so we can find you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Noel, start 2, championship week. Let's ride. Lockett, Chark, Kirk, Ayuk, Dobbs. I don't know if I can trust Kirk with the amount of touches spread out from the Jags offense now. Kind of want to take a shot on Chark. So what worries me with not just that, but also just kind of how this game is going to play, because do the Jaguars really need to really, do anything? Because this game doesn't matter for them. If they lose, they win. It does not affect anything for next week. Next week, week 18, is the week where it is basically a playoff game for the Jaguars and Titans. And so, we have Trevor Lawrence, who's a little banged up coming into this week with a toe injury. I just don't know how much they're going to do. We hear a lot with coaches that they try to, like this week, Doug Peterson said that, he's going to treat this game like a normal game. We see this a lot, and coaches end up lying. If I can help it, I probably don't want to play, Christian Kirk. Could be wrong, but process, I would just much rather lean on somebody else with the amount of options you have. I think you have better options than having to go with somebody like that. So if we're starting 2 here, I would look at this and I would go, if it was me, I think I would go Tyler Lockett. And then I think it comes down to, I think I would go Ayuk. I do see where you're coming from with Chark. He makes a lot of sense. A good matchup against Chicago. He has played really well, especially as over the last month of the season. But I think you can feel a little bit better about the other 2 options you have. I think this is a great spot also for Brandon Ayuk against the Raiders. The Raiders look terrible. They are in disarray. They're starting Jarrett Stidham. So I do like Ayuk quite a bit. And we without no Deebo Samuel. If Deebo is in, I feel a little bit differently about it, but it's still a little bit more consolidated. So I think I would go Tyler Lockett and Brandon Ayuk. Dobbs does make some sense, but at the same time, we're not going to know for sure if Christian Watson's going to play or not yet. He's supposed to test a pregame. So I think that's where I would go with this. It would be Tyler Lockett and Brandon Ayuk. Noel, which kicker should I go with? Suckup, Koo, Patterson, Gould, Myers, Pinero, Crosby, or Elliott. Love the kicker questions. I think if it was me, I think I would go with a ton of options here. Just looking at my rankings here, I think I would go Robbie Gould here. I have him ranked the highest of all the kickers you have here. I have him ranked 5th overall among my kickers. I have Brett Maher, Harrison Bucker, Dicker, the kicker, Tyler Bass, and then Robbie Gould wrapping up my top 5 in terms of the kicker. So I think that's where I would come in on that. Will Sauce be covering DK or Lockett? And would you play Dobbs over Lockett if Christian Watson is out? So kind of similarly, I think DK is going to see a lot of Sauce Gardner. He plays on the outside. Tyler Lockett tends to shift more into the inside, into the slot. And so I don't that is actually the best matchup you're looking for. That is where they struggle the most, is inside the slot there for that Jets defense. And so I do not think Tyler Lockett is going to be seeing much Sauce Gardner. And that doesn't mean he's not going to see any of them, but he's definitely not going to see nearly as much as what DK Metcalf is going to see. So with Tyler Lockett back, I feel pretty good about rolling with him. And would you play Dobbs over Lockett if Christian Watson is out? No. I still think Tyler Lockett's in a better spot, and I think he's somebody you're going to be able to trust a little bit more. This Packers game could go so many different directions, especially with it being a divisional game. The Vikings don't really have a lot to play for. Right? I mean, they could technically still get the number one seed, or they could fall back from the two to the three. But there's not a lot of things that can happen here. Really, they're going to know because if the Eagles win at noon, they clinch. They lock up the number one seed. It's over. The Vikings can no longer get that seed. And so then from there, it really just comes down to do they really care that much about being the two versus the three? And that's really all that it would come down to, of how much they're going to care about this game. I know it's a rivalry game with the Packers, but you also have to, do you really want to get anybody injured? It's kind of the same situation. So I think this could be a game where you see a little bit more pass or a little bit more running, especially with having AJ Dillon playing well lately. So I like Romeo Dobbs, and I think he's in play. But I would just play Tyler Lockett above him. Alexis last week went by too fast. Yeah. Um, Brandon Cooks, Christian Kirk, Cordell Patterson, or Jacoby Myers pick two. I'm gonna go with Jacoby Myers here, and then I'm gonna go with Christian Kirk. I know everything I just said about Christian Kirk, but with the options you have, I'm not playing Cordell Patterson. He's playing like 25% of the snaps. It's basically Tyler Algier's backfield now. And so I just can't mess with Cordell Patterson. So I would just immediately take him off. And then Brandon Cooks is just a little bit harder to trust. I know he finally scored a touchdown last week, but he's basically been nothing. And at least with Christian Kirk, you can feel pretty good about he's at least probably going to see at least 5 or 6 targets in this game today, however things play out here. And so I would just feel a little bit more comfortable playing Christian Kirk with Trevor Lawrence, my quarterback. So and then Jacoby Myers is always a really solid play every single week. So those would be the two that I go with there. Ken, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Pick four, half point PPR. Mike Williams, Godwin, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. I see your struggle here, Ken. I see your struggle with Dotson and Gabe Davis. So I'm going to go with. Oh man. So four. So we're locking in Keenan Allen. He's a lock. We're locking in Chris Godwin. He's a lock. AJ Brown also is a lock. So those three. So Keenan, AJ Brown, and Godwin are locked. So then it comes down to Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Dotson, and Gabe Davis. I really like Jahan Dotson this week, but I'm not going to play him over the options you have. Gabe Davis is extremely boomer bust. So it's going to come down to Mike Williams and DJ Moore. I don't love playing Mike Williams and Keenan Allen in the same lineup together. It's just kind of negatively correlates to each other. We've kind of seen it a little bit with Mike Williams, the last couple weeks with Keenan Allen going off. He just doesn't have that same sort of ceiling when if it's kind of one or the other, especially with because if Mike Williams is going off, that means he's probably scoring. He's probably scoring touchdowns. He's getting a lot of deep balls, which is going to negate how many opportunities that Keenan Allen's going to go with. I like Keenan Allen more this week over Mike Williams, so I would go with Keenan Allen, and then I would go with DJ Moore. DJ Moore is in a fantastic spot. These are two teams in this game today, the Bucks and the Panthers, that really struggle in pass DVOA over the last 4 weeks. Both of these teams ranked in the bottom half of the league in pass DVOA. The Bucks ranked 28th over the last 4 weeks in pass DVOA, and the Panthers ranked 29th. So I really like getting into this passing game. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore, who's really started to turn things around, especially recently with Sam Darnold. So that's why I would go with this one. I would go to wrap it up: Godwin, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and AJ Brown. Great group of wide receivers there, though. I understand the struggle. And then you go from that to this. Pick one: Khalil Herbert, Damian Harris, and Gus Edwards at running back. I would probably go Damian Harris. I don't love it. All of these options are, these are all basically our running back twos on their own team. Khalil Herbert, he did come back last week. He saw a couple targets, saw some carries. He was playing really well previous to this injury, but this isn't a good matchup. Despite the Lions giving up just 300 plus rushing yards last week, for the most part this year, they've done a really good job, especially over the last half of the season of stopping opposing run games. So I don't love Khalil Herbert, and then Gus Edwards is also just not somebody I truly want to trust here with all the options they have in the backfield. So I think I would just go with Damian Harris. He's probably going to see 15 touches today, and I think he's just a little bit easier to project. So that's why I would go with there. Porter, what is up? Marquise Brown or Josh Palmer? I'm in the finals in this league. So we know DeAndre Hopkins got ruled out last night, so that is actually good news for Marquise Brown. It kind of makes this target share a little bit easier. Also, if you're struggling at wide receiver today, you're looking for another option. Greg Dortch is a fantastic play today. I love Greg Dortch this week. I'm playing a ton of him in DFS, and he just sets up to be a great spot this week. We've seen him in spots whenever they've relied on him, and he's come through. He could see 8 to 10 targets, but with at least this spot, I'm going Marquise Brown. No DeAndre Hopkins. Marquise Brown could see a lot of targets here. They are going with David Blau at quarterback here for Arizona. So just another revolving door of quarterbacks here. So I think I would still go Marquise Brown, though. Josh Palmer is the third or fourth option really now in this offense with both Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and then Austin Eckler also seeing a massive amount of targets in that offense as well. So I would go with Marquise Brown. Ken, Chiefs or Giants defense? I think I would go with the Giants here. The Chiefs have just not done a very good. I mean, they've been like an okay defense, but they don't turn the ball over very much. They're not a team that you could, they're hard to rely on. They do get a lot of sacks, but they're just not a team that turns the ball over. Their secondary hasn't been great, and we saw this matchup a couple of weeks ago, and the Broncos looked really the best they've looked all year on offense against this Chiefs defense. It is at home for Kansas City, but I would probably lean towards the Giants here against Indianapolis. We just saw Nick Foles just looked absolutely dreadful last week, just turned the ball over and over and over and over again. And so this Giants team can get pressure. Kayvon Thibodeau has played very well. That defense looks like it's going to get better and better as over the next couple of years. And so I think I would go with the Giants here. It's a better spot here, and we're not really worried about. There's no Jonathan Taylor there for the Colts, so you're worried about stopping Zach Moss and Deion Jackson. So I think I would go with the Giants here. I think they have provide more of a ceiling there. Daniel Bellinger or the Saints tight end. I'm assuming you're talking about Juwan Johnson. There at tight end. I would go with Juwan Johnson. He's just a little bit. I think he's a better option. I think he is somebody that he gets a lot of opportunities inside the red zone. Um, so I think I would now. I know last week he only saw 2 targets, but that is also because the weather in that game was dreadful, and we didn't want to play anybody from the passing game in that game. So prior to that, I mean, Juwan Johnson has been absolutely rock solid. Has been a top 5 tight end in 4 of his last 6 games he's played in. So I'm going to go with Daniel, excuse me, I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson. Buddy Moon, I respect your authority. Appreciate you, buddy. Pick 2 PPR: Jones, Dillon, Akers, or Algier. This is a good group. So I'm going to go with Tyler Algier. He is definitely in play for me this week. Love Tyler Algier. He has been really, really good. He is actually number 1 among all running backs in EPA per rush with running backs with over 100 carries this year. He's also top 6 in yards after contact per attempt. He's just been really good. It's a really good matchup against a Cardinals defense that struggles. They allow the number one most PPR points to running backs, schedule adjusted. So I'm going Tyler Algier. I am not sitting Tyler Algier if I can help it. And then the other options come down to, I'm assuming that's Aaron Jones and Dillon. It sounds like Aaron Jones should be good to go. I know there was some talk last week because he didn't play a whole lot. Looks like he got rolled up on last week, but he's not on the injury report heading into week 17. Must win game for them this week. So I think I'm going to go with Aaron Jones. There is some risk there with him just because of what we saw last week where he was active, but then he kind of didn't play in the second half. If there's any concern there, the other option I would go with would be probably Cam Akers. But I do like all of these options. Like I like all 4 of these running backs this week. Tyler Algier's a lock, and then I would probably I think I would still go I would go Aaron Jones. He sounds like he's good to go. He was able to practice all week, and he is not. They removed him off the injury report. He doesn't even have an injury designation heading into this game. So that's who I would go with there. Tyler Algier or Zach Moss at the wide receiver. Porter. Neither one of these are wide receivers, my guy. But go Tyler Algier here, 100%, not even close. We're not even thinking about playing Zach Moss. Hayden Hurst and the tight end I forgot too. Yeah, I'm still going Juwan Johnson over Hayden Hurst as well. If that's kind of the question there. Minshew or Rodgers? I'm going to have these two very close to each other. but I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. Much better matchup. The Minnesota Vikings defense has really struggled this year to stop the pass. They've gotten better against the run, but against the pass, they've just absolutely just allowed everything and anything that you possibly could want. Must-win game for the Packers to keep their playoff hopes alive. And so I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers here. I have him at QB 7 this week, and I have Gardner Minshew at QB 12. So I think both of them are in play, but I just prefer Aaron Rodgers here in a must-win game at home against the against the Minnesota Vikings. So that's where I would go there. Nick Folk or Justin Tucker, I would go Justin Tucker there for that one. CB, hi guys, happy New Year. Need two running backs, PPR, Monty Walker, McKinnon, Algier, Dobbins, also Minshew or Goff. We're locking in Goff there for sure. I have Goff. It feels weird. I have him as a top 5 quarterback this week. I have him at QB 5. So really, really good spot for Jared Goff. You have to absolutely love the spot that he's in this week at home, the Coors Field of the NFL, if you will. Every game this year at home at Ford Field has went over 60 points. So love Jared Goff here in this matchup against a really bad Bears defense. And then a running back, we have David Montgomery, Kenneth Walker, McKinnon, Algier, Dobbins. I'm going to go, especially with this being a PPR, I'm going to lock in Algier. I already talked about them. I have him at RB 16. And then I think it gets interesting between the other two options that you have of Kenneth Walker and Jerick McKinnon. We saw last week McKinnon just saw a little bit of a drop off in touches. He's basically being used as like another wide receiver for this team. He doesn't see a lot of carries. He might see 5 to 6 carries, maybe 7, something like that. But like he is seeing if they're pushed, if the Chiefs are pushed and the Broncos keep this game close, then it sets up to be a great spot for McKinnon because he's going to be used a lot. He could see 7, 8, 9 targets in this game. Whereas if it's not, and if the Chiefs were to be able to get up quickly and put this team away, much like then this would be much more of an Isaiah Pacheco game. I think it's very close between McKinnon and Kenneth Walker. It's not a very good matchup for Kenneth Walker just because the Jets defense has been really good. They are top 10 in both pass and rush DVOA this year. They have done a very good job against both. Kenneth Walker isn't really utilized a ton in the passing game. I would lean towards McKinnon just because of the ceiling that he provides that we've seen from him. But if you wanted to go Kenneth Walker because of maybe you think that the Chiefs are going to blow out the Broncos, then I could see that as well. It's just I have Tyler Algier at RB 16, I have Jerick McKinnon at 17, and I have Kenneth Walker at 19. Um, so that's where I would come in on that. That's the way I would ride it here because we're looking for straight ceiling here. We're trying to take this down and win, and that's the way I would roll here. CB, need two running backs, PPR, Mixon, Walker, McKinnon, Stevenson, Chubb, and Dobbins. So we're going to go Joe Mixon here. I have him as a top 10 running back again this week, even against Buffalo. He just sees so much work in the passing game. It makes him a viable option, even in a tougher matchup against the Buffalo defense. And then the other option, it's going to be kind of the same thing I just talked about. Oh, wait, hold on. You have Stevenson in here. I forgot the cascading of same players you have. I would go Ramondre Stevenson. He is scary just because he is coming off a little bit of an injury. He didn't really he wasn't utilized as much in the passing game the last couple of weeks. Only 5 and 3 targets over the last couple of weeks. But I do think in this spot here against Miami, I would still go Ramondre Stevenson. I know Damian Harris is back as well, but I think this could be a spot where he is utilized a lot in the passing game as well. And so I would go Ramondre and Joe Mixon here of this group that you have. Crab Gravy, let's go get those ships. Let's go, Crab Gravy. That's what we're trying to do today. Let's get that dub, get that championship, that bragging rights. That's what we do this for. And win a little money heading into the new year. Emilio, Firemouth, Komet, Njoku, or Goddard, tight end, full PPR. Man, how are all these guys available? That's nice. I would go with Dallas Goddard of this group. I It's really close between Patty Fry, Goddard, and Njoku for me. Really, even Komet. I actually have all these as top 12 tight ends this week. I have Goddard just slightly above Patty Fry. So I have Goddard at 6. I have Patty Fry at 8, and then I have Njoku at 10, and I have Cole Kmet at 11. So all of these are really good spots. I just slightly lead towards Patty Fry here in this spot against Baltimore. But if you want to go Goddard, I totally get it as well because I think you know this matchup here against New Orleans, uh, Dalton Schultz has definitely proven that he can get the job done. Played pretty well last week against the Cowboys as well. I just slightly lean towards Dallas Goddard here uh, over Patty Fry. Emilio, Algier, Monty, or Akers at RB2. This is Tyler Algier. I'm just all in on Tyler Algier this week. He has been so good, especially recently. Once they've kind of given him the reins to this backfield, and it's been kind of nice because we're actually seeing Desmond Ritter actually throw the ball over the last couple of weeks, which has actually helped because he is seeing a little bit more involvement in the passing game as well. When you're only throwing the ball, like when they had Marcus Mariota and they were throwing the ball, you know, uh, 18 to 20 times a game, it was a lot harder to really expect a whole lot from this offense. But the last couple of weeks, we're seeing them get up to 30 pass attempts per game, which is a helping thing, especially for another guy like Drake London, who's also in a really good spot. But Tyler Algier, I think, is in a fantastic spot against a really bad defense. So really, really like Tyler Algier here. Porter, start one, two-way flex. KJ Osborne, Marquise Brown, or keep the Saints running back number what? You mean Alvin Kamara? Is that what you're talking about? I I would play if this we're talking about we're starting instead of somebody. I would go Alvin Kamara here. It's not the best matchup, but I'm playing him over Marquise Brown or KJ Osborne. All right, Boston fan, choose one at the flex: Kenneth Walker, Brian Robinson, or Cam Akers. With Antonio Gibson out, Brian Robinson becomes an excellent, excellent play. He's I actually moved him all the way up to running back 12 on the week. This is a great spot against Cleveland. Cleveland is terrible against the run. No Antonio Gibson means the only other running back there is Jonathan Williams. I think Brian Robinson could get the pass catching work here. Obviously, no J.D. McKissick either. He's on IR. Antonio Gibson coming out really opens things up for him to um, see even more volume than what he typically sees. He saw 22 carries last week, but that was against San Francisco. This is a great matchup against the Cleveland Browns, and we've kind of seen it. And plus matchups for him, he's done well over the weeks prior to that. He had 89 rushing yards on 12 carries. Week 15 against the Giants. The same thing prior to that. Week 13, 21 carries, 96 yards in that matchup. And then against Atlanta, 18 carries, 105 yards. He was also targeted 3 times for 20 yards and a score in that game. He just does really well, obviously against bad defenses. So, and this is a much better spot here. So I'm going to go with Brian Robinson, lock him in. Jay Gons, Happy New Year from Twitch. Hey, how's it going? Happy to see you here rocking with us. Championship today. I'm debating Juju or Chark, leaning towards Chark. So if this game plays out any way of what it did the last time with this Chiefs game, uh Juju Smith-Schuster was the best option here from that game. He had one of his best games that week. He was a top 6 wide receiver on the week in that game. He saw 11 targets, 9 catches, 74 yards, and a score in that game because the Broncos really tried to take away Travis Kelce. And anytime teams do that, they basically use Juju Smith-Schuster as Travis Kelce. They have him run the same routes, intermediate over the middle routes, and that's kind of what they did that time. The last time they played, it was one of his better games of the season in terms of fantasy production. Only one other game he was better for him. He scored 22 PPR points that game, and so I'm playing Juju Smith-Schuster here in this matchup against the Broncos today. I get it. I've already talked a lot about Chark. I think he makes a ton of sense in this matchup, but I'm not playing him over a guy like Juju, who Juju could see 10 plus targets. Where I don't think you can make that case for DJ Chark. He's much more probably like 6 to 8 targets as in this game. Uh, he is utilized more as a deep threat and stuff like that in this for the Lions, but I'm not sitting Juju Smith-Schuster here uh, for DJ Chark. Anthony, Dortch or Murray? I'm gonna go with Greg Dortch. I like Greg Dortch a lot here in this spot. I think I have moved him all the way up, especially with the news of DeAndre Hopkins being out is inside my top 36 wide receivers this week. We kind of like I talked about, we saw him last week where he saw 11 targets. I mean, he has multiple games this year. The slot is really where you have has really produced this year for the Cardinals, even in certain weeks whenever it was Rondale Moore that was doing it before he went out. But now that he is back kind of in this role, 11 targets last week. We saw him earlier in the year really come through and with fantasy points of 12, 16, and 17. He also week 11 against San Francisco, he scored 19. Like he's been a very consistent fantasy producer when given opportunity. So I would go with Greg Dortch here for sure. It looks like a very similar question. Greg Dortch, Latavius Murray. I'm going Greg Dortch. We're going Greg Dortch. We're rocking Dortch again this week. Very solid option here. Let's see. David Njoku or Gerald Everett. I'm going Njoku here. I can't trust Gerald Everett. It's just been frustrating with him. So emojis, love that. The Browns question are not in the same league. All right. Did we already answered this one, buddy? I think we did. Did we get this one already? Yeah, because it was Algier and Aaron Jones. I also have Ayuk, but can't trust him more than those two. Yeah, I really like Brandon Ayuk's spot this week, but I agree. I think I would still go Juju over Brandon Ayuk here. But I actually like Ayuk more than DJ Chark, but I like Juju more than both of them. Goat manager, fellow White Sox fan, happy to have you here. Uh, Kamara, Connor, or Algier, James Conner, 100%. I am loving James Conner this week. Top 5 running back for me on the week against Atlanta. He has just played such an incredible amount. He has played 90% of the backfield touches here. He is just your absolute workhorse. The only thing that could stop him would be an injury because he has just been great on this or of recent weeks. He has been a top 4, or excuse me, a top 5 running backs in 4 of his last 6 games. He has just soaked up all of the opportunities. He's involved heavily in the passing game over his last 3 games since their bye. He has seen 7, 5, and 8 targets over that span as well. So it's just you can't sit James Conner. I love Tyler Algier, but it is James Conner, top 5 option this week. Yes, and even over Kenneth Walker for sure as well. James Cook or Jeff Wilson for TX. I think I'm going to go with Jeff Wilson, probably a little bit safer of a role. Neither one are in great spots. The Patriots' run defense has been really good, but they're going to be missing some pieces there from that defense for them. And Jeff Wilson, we kind of saw it last week to kind of come in and had a decent role there. 9 carries, 37 yards, 2 targets for for Jeff Wilson. Obviously, it's still him and Raheem Mostert, but James Cook's a little bit harder to trust. I do think James Cook actually probably has a larger ceiling just because of this matchup. The Bills Bengals game tomorrow night looks fantastic, and I'm excited to watch that game. But I think I would slightly lean towards Jeff Wilson here, just a little bit safer of a play. Ramondre, Monty, or Brian Robinson? Oh man, I'm gonna go with Ramondre. I really like Brian Robinson this week, but I have Ramondre ranked higher. I'm ranked 7th overall compared to Brian Robinson, who I have him at 12. Is there any way we could get both of them in TX and be able to play both B Rob and Ramondre, possibly in a flex spot or something like that? Um, Let us know in the comments. I'm just curious. TX, Christian Watson, DJ Moore, or Drake London. I'm gonna go with DJ Moore. I do like Drake London a lot. Talked about that quite a bit. We won't know if Christian Watson's going to be a full go likely until right before that game. They're going to test it. I don't think Christian Watson plays personally. Um, I don't think they need him to play to win this game, and so I think that he doesn't play, and you give him a week to rest up for that week 18 matchup against the Lions. Now, as far as DJ Moore or Drake London is concerned, I would lean towards DJ Moore. I think, but like I said, both of them are definitely in play. Both of them are top 24 wide receivers this week for me, but I lean towards DJ Moore, who I've ranked just a little bit higher. I have DJ Moore at wide receiver 18, and I have Drake London at wide receiver 23 for me. So let's go DJ Moore. Porter, you owe this man at least $10. Just happy to help. Do whatever we can to help you guys out. That's what we're here for. Top tier. Quick question: Jacobs or Hollywood? The thing is, I don't really love either one of these options you just listed. Um, I actually have Josh Jacobs. I have dropped him down severely. I have him at RB 19 in this matchup against San Francisco. It's just not it's a terrible matchup. San Francisco's defense has been absolutely elite this year, and now with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, I just don't know what to expect whatsoever. I don't expect good things, that's for sure. Um, but he just sees so many touches that it's harder to trust him because or harder to sit him because he can get there off a random touchdown scored. Um, if he's utilized a little bit more in the passing game, Marquise Brown, though, without anybody else there, with it only down to with DeAndre Hopkins out, I think that's who I would go with. I would go with Hollywood in a better spot, better matchup against an Atlanta defense. I know the quarterback isn't fantastic either, but I think I would lean Hollywood. But it makes me feel sick to sit Josh Jacobs as well as he's played this year. TX Zach Moss or Michael Carter. I'm gonna go with Michael Carter with Zach White back. We know he likes to really dump off and utilize the running backs in the backfield. Michael Carter is probably going to play 45% of the snaps here in this game today against Seattle. It's a good matchup for them, and so I'm going to go with Michael Carter here as kind of more of the pass catching back here. Jacobs Hollywood can't worry. Yeah, yeah, I would go. I would go Hollywood. It's just tough to trust. Brown or Greg with Hopkins out. I want to free agency, and he was there. Greg Dortch. Porter, you're killing me with the spelling. I'm assuming that's Greg Dortch. Okay. I'm gonna go Marquise Brown over Greg Dortch. But I do like both of them today. But yes, I would go if that's Marquise Brown. I would go Marquise Brown. I'll be tuning out by the time you read this. But Merry belated Christmas, Happy New Year's, my guy. 1,000 winner takes all today. Let's go, buddy. Let's take it down. Let's get that money in the pocket. Start off the year right. Uzi, Lockett, Ayuk, or Pittman. I'm gonna go with Lockett here. Uh, Let me see, just to verify. I'm pretty sure I'm. All right, had to pull up the wide receivers. I think so. For me, it's going to come down to Lockett or Ayuk. I'm not playing Pittman as much. I'm so sad. I love Michael Pittman. I love that man. He is a much better wide receiver than what he has been gifted at wide receiver or at quarterback. Excuse me. The quarterback situation is dreadful there. I think next year, if they can actually get a solid quarterback option, I think then Michael Pittman can take off fully. But as of right now, the way this is playing out with Nick Foles, no thanks. We'll avoid that. So it comes down to Lockett and Ayuk. I'm gonna go with. I think I'm actually gonna go with Brandon Ayuk. Now that I'm sitting here and I was brought up my rankings, I was trying to remember. I knew I had them close. I have Brandon Ayuk over Tyler Lockett, slightly. So let me go with. Let me go. I'll go Brandon Ayuk here in this spot. Uzi, Jacobs or Hollywood, James Cook, Jahan Dotson or Brandon Cooks. Still go Hollywood, but Dotson would be close here. I'm going to try to take 3K pot. Jacobs is making me scared. Here's my lineup. Mahomes, Devonta Smith, Cooper, Saquon, McKinnon, Kittle, Jacobs, Tucker. I mean, if you want to go Jacobs, I get it, right? Like I said, like he's probably the safer option of everything you have, just because of how many touches he should see. But if he gets game scripted out, and let's say the 49ers jump up quickly and they're up 21 nothing, he's probably not going to see many carries. He's not going to see many opportunities. And especially if they get down that quickly, I mean, they're clearly showing that they're not really trying to win at this point with starting Jarrett Stidham. And do they just pull Josh Jacobs? Like, those are all things that are in the realm of possibility. And that's why I have him down running back 19. If you want to play him, I'm not going to tell you not to. Obviously, you're trying to win, and that's your team, and you have to. I mean, I would say at that point, if you feel more comfortable going Jacobs, do it. I mean, trust your gut. Whatever. I mean, I know there's no like anything behind that, but it's your team. You got to do what you got to do, and if you want to go Jacobs, I can get it. It makes it really tough to think about sitting somebody like Josh Jacobs, who is basically probably is one of the reasons you got to where you're at now. But this just is a total terrible matchup for him. Scott, Monty or Algier, the Ravens, Pats, or Jags? D, I'm going to go with Algier for sure. Love Tyler Algier. Keep talking about that, but I absolutely love Tyler Algier. And then the Ravens, Pats, or Jags? That one I am not. Let me see. I'm going to go Ravens here in this spot. I'm not playing the Jaguars with Miami. I know it's Teddy Bridgewater, but Teddy Bridgewater is a competent quarterback, and he's also somebody that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's not going to throw a bunch of interceptions and stuff like that. Like, he is a much smarter quarterback and tends to be much more of a game manager type. So he's not really going to do anything to jeopardize that. And so I don't like the Pats as much. And then the Jags, again, is this a spot where we all of a sudden see them start pulling starters? The Ravens are much easier to play. I have the Ravens the top 5 defense this week, so go Ravens. but over but overall here, I will say top tier. I meant to say this. It is a good spot. You do have a really solid team. Mahomes obviously in a great spot. Barkley's in an elite spot. McKinnon, like the little correlation with Mahomes and McKinnon here. If Mahomes goes off, McKinnon's going to go off. Kittle over the last 2 weeks has been fantastic. With Brock Purdy at quarterback, finally starting to see him wake up, so that has been awesome. So, Higbee or Mark Andrews? I'm going to go with Mark Andrews. I'm not going to chase last week's production for Tyler Higbee. I know he went off last week, and and a lot of people probably had him on the bench. I'm not going to trust that he's going to do the same thing we did last week, his 9 for 94 and 2. So I would go Mark Andrews. I know Mark Andrews hasn't been very good, but he has just been just good enough every single week to get by. But this is a spot here. I think Mark Andrews. I would just go Mark Andrews. Yeah. Haven't seen you in here before. Cody, is that Kutzer or Kutzer? I'm not. I don't know. I hope I said it right. First time caller, long time listener. Dalvin Cook or Keenan. Also Mixon or McKinnon for Cody. Let's see. Let's see if I can help Cody here. Happy to have you. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't already. Really appreciate you rocking with us. Dalvin or Keenan? First of all, Cody, why can we not play both? Okay. I know I say that a lot, but if you're new here, I'm just curious because I have Dalvin Cook at running back 3 this week. So there's only 2 other running backs, unless you have Barkley or McCaffrey, that I would want to play above them. Really like this spot against Green Bay. I would play Dalvin over Keenan, but it is really close because I also love Keenan Allen as well. I have him as a top 10 wide receiver this week as well. Also, Mixon or McKinnon. You're going to go Mixon there. I get it. A little bit more of a scarier matchup against Buffalo, but Buffalo at times this year has really proven that they can be susceptible to the to the run at times. And then we also Joe Mixon has just been utilized so much as a pass catcher. So it's really kind of last week he saw 9 targets. The week before that he saw 6. And so I'm going to go with Joe Mixon here over Jerick McKinnon. But if we can play both, Cody, let's try to get both Dalvin Cook and Keenan into the game. I think both of them are in really solid spots. What do you think of the Bucks Panthers game will be like? I am tempted to start Eddie Pinheiro as he has 4 straight double-digit games in a row. Playoff game. It's a playoff game for these 2 teams. Winner is in the lead for the division, right? So this is very much a playoff game, and so I would lean more towards the Buck side of this game. It's in Tampa Bay. Sam Darnold, here, but this is a de facto playoff game here. I think you could go. I think Eddie Pinero's fine. I think he's a good option. I think they can keep this game close. The Bucks have shown no ability to be able to just stop teams and put teams away. They just played down to the Cardinals last week with Trace McSorley. So, not that obviously a week to week things can change, but it's just hard. I don't think you can truly trust that the Bucks are going to be able to go out here and look like the Bucks that we all thought they were going to. So, I think Pinero's is a good spot. Riley Patterson also 3 double-digit games in a row. I would probably lean more towards Pinero there than Riley Patterson. Cactus Jack. What is up, Cactus Jack? Mike Williams, Rashad White, Cam Akers. Which one should I start? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well there, Mick Foley. I would go with Mike Williams here of this group of the 2 running backs and the wide receiver. I'm going to go Mike Williams. Like his spot as well. He's a top 15 wide receiver for me this week. Let's go Mike Williams. Porter. My man. With I need to start getting paid overtime for all these Porter questions. All right. Let somebody else have some Porter. I would go with Brian Robinson. I like him a little bit more here at this spot, Porter. Yeah, let's go Brian Robinson. Talked about him. Top 12 running back for me this week. McKinnon is more in that like 15-ish range for me. So let's go Brian Robinson with no Antonio Gibson. Sorry, I meant 2 running backs. You said Connor, but who would be the RB2 between Walker, Kamara, and Algier? This is what I'm gonna say. I would go Kamara, but if you want to get a little different, because I actually think Tyler Algier at this point has a higher ceiling than Alvin Kamara does. Alvin Kamara just has been really not good this year. He's been dreadful, really. I know last week was a pretty solid performance for him against Cleveland, but Cleveland has struggled against running backs all year. The frustrating part with Alvin Kamara is he's not being utilized as a pass catcher. And that is what's always made him elite. And he's just not seeing it. I mean, you have to go back to week 12 where he finally saw more than 5 targets in a game, but it's only happened twice since week 7. I mean, he's just not seeing targets. And so this is what on paper looks like a good matchup against Philadelphia, but Philadelphia has actually been a top 3 run defense over the past 4 games. They've made some additions to that defense, to adding some pieces for to help the run, and Ndamukong Suh was added there. And so if you wanted to go Algier, I really wouldn't mind it. I do have Alvin Kamara ranked higher, but Tyler Algier is just in such a good spot. I do love him this week. So it's really, you have to trust whatever it is you want to do. If you want to go Kamara, he's a little bit safer of an option. He's probably going to see, he's kind of locked in to 20-plus touches, where Tyler Algier, you never know because it's the Falcons and it's Arthur Smith. But he has been seeing, 20-plus touches himself recently in what is a really good matchup. So I think it's close between those two. I'd probably lean towards Kamara, but I would get it if you wanted to pivot over to Tyler Algier. Anthony, Kmet or Andrews for tight end? I'm going to go with Mark Andrews here in this spot. If you want to go Kmet, I get it. The Lions are terrible against tight ends on the year, but I would just lean towards Mark Andrews. So I have him a little bit higher than Kmet. TX, I'd have to bench Mixon or Eckler or Mixon to play both B-Rob and Ramondre. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, we're definitely not benching Eckler at all. Like, that's never in question. Mixon could be a little bit more, but I'm still going to play Mixon over both of them. So, man, I need help. Man, I need help. Pick 2 wide receivers in a flex. I have Pittman, DK, Stevenson, Samuels, Sutton, Olave, and Algier. So the wide receivers, I'm going to go Olave, and then I'm going to go Metcalf, and then at flex, I'm going to go Stevenson here. I think Stevenson makes the most sense here for you in this spot. Yeah, so let's go with Olave, Pittman, or excuse me, Metcalf and Stevenson here in this for me. That's what I'm going to go with. Fire Toad, sit one. Godwin, AJ Brown, Waddle, Higgins, Jacobs, or Kamara. I'm sitting Jacobs. That's where we're at. It's shame. Fantasy Championship Sunday. The guy that's probably got you here, who's just been absolutely fantastic this year, everything is cratering in Las Vegas. Starting Jarrett Stidham, the stone cold worst matchup against the 49ers defense that's just been absolutely elite this year. Yeah, I'm not playing Jacobs over the other options. You have great options here at wide receiver, and then I trust Kamara a little bit more than I would Jacobs. So sad to say it, but yes, I'm not playing Josh Jacobs over those options. So Perry Williams, two running backs, two flexes. We have ETN, Kenneth Walker, Stevenson, Algier, Mostert, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, or Drake London. So here I'm going to go Travis Etienne and Stevenson. And then in the flex, I'm going to go with, man, Perry. This has to be brutal. Because every week you're gonna feel like you have points left on the bench that you wish you didn't. Because this all of these are really good spots. Like love DJ Moore, love Drake London, but I can't play both of them over Devonta Smith. I've already talked about Tyler Algier and how good of a spot this is for him. Um, Kenneth Walker is more of a mid option this week, but ETN scares you because again, we've talked about this game. Do they play him as much? As you see the same type of volume against Houston? It is a better matchup against Houston, obviously, but it's just a meaningless game for the Jaguars. So if it was me and this is my team and I'm playing, I would go ETN and Stevenson, and then I would play Devonta Smith and DJ Moore. If you wanted to go and you felt a little safer about a guy like Algier, I wouldn't be upset. I would get it. I would totally get it because both ETN and Stevenson, I don't feel like great about this week. I'm not like, oh yeah, slam these guys in because both of them, ETN, I just talked about. Stevenson, it's not a good matchup against the Dolphins. The Dolphins have done a pretty good job against opposing running backs this year. But Stevenson is a guy that can see 10 plus targets in a game. We've seen it before. They like to dump the ball down to him. If that's what happens in this game, then he makes a lot of sense over some of the other options. He is definitely harder to trust. It's not as good of a matchup as a guy like Tyler Algier is, or even Drake London for that matter. Drake London's at a great spot. We've talked about the Falcons as well for throwing the ball more, which is great news for Drake London. But Devonta Smith has been so good. The Slim Reaper has been awesome. He's a top 15 wide receiver, and then DJ Moore has played much better in a matchup here that means far more for them. So that's why I went with those options. I know I am. I know that's not the most concrete, but that's just the way that I would view it if it was me. Jags or Giants? I'm gonna go Giants D there. Start one: Mac, Wentz, or Teddy. Oh my goodness. um, I'm gonna go Wentz here. I hate it. I don't really want to play any of these guys, but that's where we're at. I would play Carson Wentz over these other options. I have Mac Jones at QB 23, and I have Teddy Bridgewater at 22, and I actually have Wentz at 20. Um, it's not a scary matchup. They have, the weapons with McLaurin, with Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel. Um, we saw him earlier in the year play really well. He had 3 games earlier in the year where he was top 5 quarterback. It seemed like it was forever ago. We were talking about that on Wednesday night. That start the season over the first 2 weeks of the season, Carson Wentz was a top 5 scoring quarterback, and then the wheels fell off because he's Carson Wentz. But in bad matchups, he has really struggled, but is really good against Jacksonville, Detroit, and then again against Tennessee, which are all really bottom half pass defenses. He has been a top 6 quarterback, and bad matchups that he's had, he's been terrible. But I would still lean Carson Wentz as much as I hate myself for it. I think that's what I would do. Will Hayes, who should I start? PPR, Jared McKinnon, Tyler Algier, or Kenneth Walker? This seems to be like the consensus question for the week. I'm going to go with Tyler Algier. Talked about it. I am ranked higher than all 3 of them. They're all right in a little same cluster for me. I think all of them are, you can make a case for all 3 of them. I'm just going to lean towards Tyler Algier, safer option. He's going to see 20 plus touches, good matchup. If he fails, he fails. But Really, I think all of these guys, even Kenneth Walker hasn't really been as good as he was earlier in the season. He's banged up, dealing with some injuries. That offensive line has started to struggle a little bit. Really, Geno Smith has started to struggle a little bit, and it's a terrible matchup against the Jets. The Jets' run defense is great. Like I said, they are top 10 in rush DVOA on the year. So it's just tougher to trust. So I'm going to go with Tyler Algier here on this one. Top tier, thanks. Appreciate it. Good luck. Good luck this week, top tier. Let's get that dub. The spelling, sorry about that. Don't worry about it, Porter. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's not that big of a deal. I get it. Thomas Edwards, need help. Pick two. DeAndre Swift, AJ Dillon, Fournette, and Algier. I'm going to go with Algier here, and then I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette. It's tough, but with Swift, right? He is so tough to trust. I feel like every single week for the last all season, me and Cody have been going back and forth saying, "Hey, this could be the week. This is gonna be the week, man. Let's see that last week. He's not on the injury report anymore. He's gonna be safe option. DeAndre Swift is back, and then the next week he doesn't do anything, or he finally comes out of nowhere and plays 50% of the snaps. Oh, see, he's back, guys. He's back. This is the week we want to play him, and then the next week he plays 30% of the snaps. Like he is so volatile and hard to trust that I just can't. I'm not over the options you have. I'm not playing DeAndre Swift. And then AJ Dillon is something that I actually do like this week. I think he's kind of a top 24 running back this week. But Fournette and Algier are just safer options to me. So I'm going to go Fournette and Tyler Algier. Good luck, Thomas. T Law or Cousins for TX? I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence. If you want to go Kirk Cousins, again, I think you can. Both of them are in the same tier for me. If I had them in tiers, they're in the same tier. I can make a case for both of them. Trevor Lawrence has obviously played fantastic over really since kind of Thanksgiving. He has been awesome. He has been a top 10 quarterback in every single week. Really, I mean, he only has 2 weeks since week 6 that he hasn't been a top 12 quarterback. Week 8 against Denver, where he put up 9 fantasy points, and then week 13 against Detroit, where they got blown out, I believe, and he put up 16 fantasy points. Other than that, the man has put up 25, 19, 17, 21, 25, 33, 28, and 18. I just can't sit Trevor Lawrence if I don't have to, but there's the concern of everything we talked about. It's going to be, can you risk it? But, you got to risk it for the biscuit, as Bruce Arians would say. So I would go Trevor Lawrence here in that matchup. But if you wanted to go Cousins, be a little safer, I get it. But both of these teams, you really can make an argument. Maybe they're not really playing for anything. So I would trust Trevor Lawrence a little bit more. Full PPR, Akers or Walker? I'm gonna go with Cam Akers. I'm gonna go Cam Akers. Cam Akers has been really good over the last 4 games. He's actually top 10 in touchdowns, rushing yards over, and this is just not. It's not just last week in his monster production that he dropped. He's actually been legitimately really good. And the Chargers, it is a good spot here against the Chargers rush defense that has struggled a lot this year. So I'm gonna go with Cam Akers. Jack, need two. Walker, Brian Robinson, or Algier, full PPR with catching bonuses and first down bonuses. Okay, so Brian Robinson and Algier are the two that I'm going to go with. Both of them are in better spots. First downs, I think, is going to be easier to come by for Brian Robinson and Algier. Neither one of them are none of the 3 of these guys are like heavily involved in the passing game, but we have seen Algier's pass catching usage tick up recently. And then Brian Robinson, there's nobody else there. His pass catching involvement could also go up dramatically in this spot as well. So I'm going to go Brian Robinson and Tyler Algier. Alex Smith, what is going on, Alex? How you doing? Najee or Kenneth Walker. This one I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. I do like Kenneth Walker here in this spot over Najee if I had to choose between the two of them. Both of them are in less than favorable matchups, but I think Kenneth Walker is a little bit safer. So I'm going to go Kenneth Walker here on that one. Michael Brown, pick 2. Aaron Jones, Kamara, Pacheco, Sanders, Dobbins, or Algier. I love all the Algier. I just love it. Love to see it. I was super high on Tyler Algier all offseason, somebody that I thought that could be a steal for people, and it's finally come through. So, a little humble brag on the new year. I'm excited that the new year's here. We have a lot of new stuff that we're going to be doing this year and getting into, and NFL draft season is upon us here shortly, and so that is going to be super exciting. If that's something that you're into, we will have a lot of that covered. Actually, next week, we are going to be recording our early 2023 rankings. It's kind of an early look at where we come in. Me and Cody are going to be dropping that, so that'll be a lot of fun. Got a lot of good stuff coming in the new year. So I appreciate all the support this year. I appreciate everybody rocking with us. We've had a lot of growth this year. We really appreciate it. We do this for you guys. For me on this one, I'm going to go with Aaron Jones and Kamara. Kind of similar thing I talked about with both of these options. I have both. I still think they're both back in RB1s this week. If you wanted to take a swing and you wanted to sit somebody, I would sit Kamara. I think before I sat Aaron Jones. And if I was going to do so, I would play Tyler Algier over him. But I would lead Aaron Jones and Kamara. I think the run defense of the Eagles has gotten better for the Eagles recently, but I would slightly lean towards Kamara and Aaron Jones over Algier. But if you wanted to do it, you had the balls to do it. I don't mind it. We're trying to win this week for that championship. Andrea, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you. Two running backs, McKinnon, Mixon, Akers, Brian Robinson. So we're going to go with Brian Robinson and Mixon here at running back. And then flex, we're going to go with DJ Moore. I do like Jerry Judy as well. Don't like him as much with Cortland Sutton here. So yes. Kid MacArthur, I hate you. I hate you love Algier so much. The Bucks had no run game against the Cardinals. Uh, well, that's because the Bucks don't have an offensive line. Um, my man. The Bucks offensive line is beat up. Uh, they have struggled to really run the ball against anybody really this year. That's been one of their biggest problems. The opposite is true with the Falcons. The Falcons have been excellent in terms of being able to run the football this year. Uh, and so with that, just looking at the offensive line stats for the year. This is something I've dug into a ton. I've talked about as much recently, but the Atlanta Falcons are fourth in adjusted line yards for their offensive line on the season. They are number one in stuff rank, and they are sixth in second level rank and top 12 in open field rank. Their offensive line has been awesome this year. They have been excellent at running the football. It's been more of the problem with their backfield has been because they've been utilizing this huge committee with Caleb Huntley and Cordell Patterson and Algier. That's really only been the problem. What we've seen now over the last 2 weeks is that's went away. Caleb Huntley's on IR, and we've seen Cordell Patterson just kind of still run 20-30% of the snaps. Tyler Algier has been the guy that's starting to play more, and now we're starting to see the production tick up for him. And so I get it where you're coming from with that, but the Cardinals aren't good. And for context, the Bucks are 28th in rush DVOA on the year, and they are 31st in second level and 30th in open field rank. So their offensive line has been dreadful. We know why. They have a ton of injuries, but that is a lot why the Bucks did do nothing on the ground. Olave against Philly. Yeah, I think he's in play. He's back this week, so we should be good to go there. Yes, go. Yes, the Bucks. Run. Yep, everything we just talked about. 100%. The Bucks run game has been dreadful this year. It's two QBs, and I have Dak and Tua. Okay. So now that makes sense. All right. All right. Fire. If you're still in here, who? Let me see. Yeah. Well, I was trying to think if there was something else that you could do, but I mean, I still think Wentz is probably the highest ceiling play with it being two quarterback league. Because you already played Dak, which actually he actually kind of came through. Wasn't look like he was going to, but then he kind of late, scoring, getting those touchdowns. The Dalton Schultz were huge. Yeah. Because there's not like a play here at quarterback for you that I'm like, oh well, maybe this guy has a lot of ceiling. Like neither. So yeah, Mac, Wentz, or Teddy. It's just none of those 3, like, are, like, high ceiling plays. Like, Wentz probably has the highest ceiling of the 3. We've seen it this year for him multiple times, even though it's been a while, and he just has the best weapons, the best well, he didn't have the best weapons over, Teddy, but Teddy's also, like I said, he's much more of a game manager. He's not gonna make a lot of mistakes. He's not gonna really throw the ball deep all that much, where Wentz is a little bit different. Wentz will do some dumb shit, but and will throw some bad throws and get some interceptions, but he can also throw for 300 yards. And so, yeah, I was just trying to see if there was any other, maybe something else we would do here. But Kane 650, Gabe Davis or Cam Akers. Let's go Cam Akers here. I get it with Gabe Davis, the allure, but he just isn't utilized that much in the passing. Or he is so boomer bust on the year. He either goes off or he just doesn't do a whole lot. And so I'm gonna go Cam Akers, who's just a little bit closer. Gonna head Porter. I'm gonna head out. Good luck to everyone this week. I will be staying until you read this. Well, happy to have you, Porter. Hope you do well. Good luck this week, my man. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Uh, there need 3 for PPR: Swift, Pacheco, DJ Moore, Dotson, White, or Jamal Williams. Okay, so DJ Moore, we're locking him in. Let's lock in Dotson, and then let's lock in Pacheco. If you want to go Swift, I think you could. It just he is so damn volatile. It is a tremendous matchup against Chicago, great matchup. Um, but he is so volatile. If you want to go Swift, I think he is the higher ceiling play for sure. He could be a top 5 running back this week if everything goes well. I was hoping that Jamal Williams wasn't actually going to play this week, but he is. And so, but I still think Swift at this spot, this is a must-win game for the Lions to make the playoffs if they want to have any shot at it. So I think I would go Pacheco. I would go DJ Moore. Um, and I would go John Dotson. But if you wanted to pivot off Pacheco and go Swift, I wouldn't hate it. I am ranked very close. Thomas, thanks for new sub and follower. Looking forward to your content in the future. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, Thomas, and thank you for subscribing. Really, really do appreciate that. I really, I know we've been talking about it a little bit lately, but I am super excited to get into the 2023 content stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to do. I am already digging into a lot of it, so it's going to be exciting. Scott Dotson, Hollywood or Dortch? I'm going to go Hollywood here still. I would go Hollywood, then Dotson, then Dortch. All very close, but I think Hollywood just kind of stands out as being the man, um, at least the number one, and then offense, followed by, and then Dotson, and then Dortch. They're all very close, all top 36 wide receivers this week. I would just slightly towards Hollywood. Isaac, how you doing it? Isaac, Adams, Devonta, Chark, Dotson, Mike Williams, PPR. Sit one. So we're sitting just one of these. I'm guessing that's Devonta, like Devonta Smith, not Devonta Adams. I know that's yeah. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Adams. Said that before. Um, let's sit. We're gonna sit DJ Chark here. We're only sitting one. We're gonna sit DJ Chark. It's tough to trust. He is in a really good spot, but all these other guys I just like a little bit more. We're not sitting Devonta Smith. We're not sitting Devontae Adams. I know he's frustrating because of the last couple of weeks, and I know it's Jared Stidham, but some of these wide receivers, just I can't sit. I mean, he's still good enough to be able to go out there and have a good game. A guy like Jared Stidham could absolutely just pepper him with 15 plus targets. We've seen it a lot. I can't do it for DJ Chark. So yes, let's go with DJ Chark. Or we're gonna sit him, even though I really love him this week. Jack, nice. I just got subscribed. I'll stay in contact of the offseason. Thank you. Let's go, Jack. Let's see here over the offseason. Give this guy some thumbs up for all the free advice. Yes, really do appreciate it. It's all we ask for is a nice little sub and and a like. And then, like I said, if you guys want, you can jump into our free Discord. It's absolutely free, and we're going to be doing a fantasy playoff challenge through it. It's free for everybody to play. There's no strings attached to it, and we're going to be giving away a pretty solid prize. Tien, our uh, local guy who's been here forever, has said that he is going to be giving out a Amazon gift card as well to whoever wins. So it's free. We can keep it going through the NFL playoffs, have some fun, and see how things play out. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go to any one of our videos that we drop, and it's in the description. I don't think it's in the description for this one. I will drop it in though here shortly. It's a lot easier whenever I have Cody here. That way I can have some help with this, but I will drop it in here shortly as well. And like I said, just jump in. It's free. We'll be dropping that out probably next week. We'll get started next week. I think after the season's over with, NFL the challenge should be opening up, and as soon as that it is, we will get you guys in there. And it's like I said, it's a lot of fun. I think I took second last year, or second or third. It was fun. It's a lot of fun the way they do it. But like I said, you just have to be in the Discord just because it's a lot easier for us to find you for whoever wins. So it's a lot easier for us that way. Kane, Jamal Williams, or Cordero Patterson. I'm going to go with Jamal Williams here. Can't trust Cordero Patterson at all. At least with Jamal Williams, we know he has a shot of scoring some touchdowns. Be growing stuff. What is up? This real quick. Edit 7. Drain new leak. Copy. All right. Dropping that in now. So I did just drop in the link to the Discord if anybody wants to join there. All right. So my lineup is Aaron Rodgers, Kamara, Josh Jacobs, AJ Brown, Juju, Darren Waller, Aaron Jones, Eagles D. Bench is Dylan, Chark, Dotson, Pacheco, Sutton. Thoughts? Any changes? So Aaron Rodgers, we're locking that in. Obviously, I don't know. Are you a Packers fan there, Be Growing Stuff, my man? Because it feels like you might be with all these Packers that you got here. So Rodgers were good. Kamara, Jacobs were. Let's see. Is there somebody else? You're already playing Aaron Jones too, so I couldn't do that. And then at wide receiver, Brown, Juju. Yeah, I think I would leave it the way you have it. I don't love Josh Jacobs, like I've talked about, but the only other option you really could do would be move Aaron Jones up and sit Jacobs for like a Pacheco or Jahan Dotson. But man, that is super, super risky to do just because of, like I said, like I would kick myself, but I just don't love Josh Jacobs at all. Like I just don't love the spot for him. And it is tough to trust, but he sees so much volume. I like or AJ Dillon, but with already starting Aaron Jones, I'm not playing both of them. So I think I would leave it. I think it's still a really solid option, still a really solid roster. I think you're in a pretty good spot here with what you got going here. So I do like that. So that's what I would go with there. Uh, Hey, 1990. Hey, appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate the support. Thank you for all your help this year. Thank you for rocking with us. We couldn't do it without you guys, or else we would just be talking into the wind. And that's no fun for anybody. But it is what it is. In KC, man, weather not too bad. No, it's like it's supposed to be in the 50s today. Like it's weird around the after that cold spell everybody just got last week. Yeah, that was Rush. So, anyways, HP, appreciate your support there. I do appreciate the super chat. That really does mean a lot to us. We appreciate all the help from you guys this year. Um, where was I just at? Oh, right there. All right, Isaac, pick two: James Cook, Chuba, Kamara, and Damian Harris. Let's go Kamara. And I'm going to go with James Cook. It does worry me to sit Chuba Hubbard. He has actually played really well recently, but it is not a good matchup. The Bucks are really good against the run. They are not great against. They are not good at all against the pass. So, but I would go James Cook. He has a little bit higher of a ceiling, more involved in the pass, a little bit more involved in the passing game as well. So, I think I would go Cook and Kamara there. Um, Isaac, Rika Ma Pick three: Hodgins, Evans, Lockett, Dotson, or Dortch. So I love Mike Evans this week. I know we shouldn't love Mike Evans, but the Panthers are terrible against outside perimeter wide receivers. They have just really struggled against that. They lost J.C. Horn. They're 29th in pass DVOA. I think this could be the spot that he gets right. If we remember the last time these two teams played, Mike Evans should have caught it was like a 70-yard touchdown. He dropped the ball. It was super frustrating. It would have been a easy 70-yard walk-in touchdown for Mike Evans. I like Mike Evans this week. We're going Mike Evans. We're going to go with Tyler Lockett. And then I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson. Those are three that I'm going to go with here. I do like Greg Dortch, talk a lot about it. And Isaiah Hodgins also good play. Really like that. But I can't play him over those three. Let's see. RS, morning, pick three. Morning, RS, pick three. Walker, Kamara, Mixon, B-Rob, PPR. So we're gonna sit Walker. We're gonna play Mixon. We're gonna play Kamara. We're gonna play Brian Robinson. Emmanuel, happy to have you here, Emmanuel. Let's get those ships today. Need two flex, half point PPR. Myers, Mike Williams, Hollywood. I'm guessing that's Shark, not Clark. And then Josh Palmer and start Rogers Minshew. So we're gonna go Rogers, and then the flex we're gonna go Mike Williams, and we're going to go with I'm gonna go with Jacoby Myers there on that one. There, Emmanuel. Let's go with Myers. Let's go with Mike Williams, and then let's go with Aaron Rodgers here for that. CHB, time to win the league today. Should I start Hollywood or Christian Watson? Unless something's changed, I don't think Christian Watson's going to play. Let me look. Because last I saw that he is going to be a game time decision. Let me look. I don't think anything had changed since right before I got on here. But since I can't follow the news as much while we're doing this. Based on Christian Watson has sore hip as they get to, yeah. I still think he's going to be a game time decision. So, if that being said, with the way these games play, I don't think I play him. I think I go with, um, I think I go Hollywood Brown. I can't trust the weight unless you have another option, a backup option here. If he doesn't play, because I do like if Christian Watson played, like I think he's a really good spot here against the Minnesota Vikings. But um, I just can't trust that he's going to play unless we get word right before noon that he's going to play. Then or if you have another option that you can supplement him with, I think you could do that. But I just don't feel great about it. I think I would rather go Hollywood Brown. Happy New Year to you as well. CHB, should I start both Chiefs running backs? I think you could. It just really depends on what your other options are. I would lean towards McKinnon over Pacheco though. TX, which two? Zay Jones, Terry, Olave, and Dortch. Let's go with Terry and Olave here. That would be the two that I would want to go with. I think it is close for Zay Jones. I do like him, but I would just lean a little bit more towards Terry over Zay Jones. Yahoo Finals. Need a flex between Fournette, Stevenson, and Algier. I'm going to go with Stevenson. It is close. He is risky. We've talked about him a ton today, but I would still go Stevenson slightly over Algier. Also, Daniel Jones or Minshew since Hurts is out. I'm going to go with Minshew, but it is super close. I actually do like Daniel Jones this week, but I like Minshew just ahead of him. Daniel Jones, I think isn't terrible. He's really involved in the run game as well. Somebody that could get 40 or 50 rushing yards, which raises his floor. But it is a spot against the Colts that I just don't think they have to throw the ball a whole lot. So I think they can lead a lot on Saquon here. So I would lean towards Gardner Minshew. Dortch or Lockett. This is Lockett CHB. C-Crip. Hey, Kev. Hey, C-Crip. I'm starting Akers, Lenny, or Algier. Full PPR. We're going to go Algier. I'm benching Swift and Mike Williams. Thoughts? I don't want to. I mean, unless you have like really good other wide receiver options, I don't want to bench Mike Williams if I don't have to. I can see benching Swift just because of how volatile he is, but Mike Williams is still in a really good spot. I have Mike Williams at wide receiver 14 this week. So, I mean, unless you have all those guys that are ahead of him, then that's fine. I get it. But like Obviously, the elite tier of Jefferson Hill, Chase, Amon St. Brown, AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, like all those guys, 100% are going ahead of him. And then Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson. Actually, I have higher at wide receiver 10. Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin. I do have Devontae Adams just ahead of him, and then Mike Williams at wide receiver 14. So if you have any of those guys, if you have all those guys go ahead of him, sure, I totally get it. But anybody after that, I'd probably rather go Mike Williams if I could help it. Search and kill on flex. Should I start Aaron Jones, McKinnon, Brian Robinson, or I would go with Aaron Jones there. It is close. I have both Aaron Jones and Brian Robinson as top 12 running backs. I just have Aaron Jones slightly ahead. If you're nervous about him not playing as much like he did last week, I would just pivot over to Brian Robinson. And at wide receiver, you have Amari Cooper, Marquise Brown, and Jerry Judy. I would go with I'm gonna go Jerry Judy here in this spot against the Chiefs. That's what I would go with there. Chris, Jaguars D or Chargers defense. I'm gonna go with the Chargers defense here in this spot. Do you like Devonta Smith for wide receiver too? Yeah, he has been really good this year. I mean, he continues to produce. This offense has been awesome this year, so love that. Mike, thanks to you and Cody for all your help this season. Finished second in my Guillotine League and the championship game and two other leagues. So the money 3 to 4 leagues. Happy to hear. Let's go, Mike. Let us what we like to see. Let's win some money today. Chris need a flex RB2. Dotson, Moss, Foreman, Zonovan Knight, and Dobbs. I'm gonna go Zonovan Knight here. This is the first time we've had a Zonovan Knight question. I do like Zonovan Knight. It's a really good matchup. I know he has struggled the last two games and was only dropped what 2 fantasy points in each of the last 2 games. It has not been good, but that has been with different quarterbacks. With Mike White, is where he played the best. He was a top 15 running back in 3 of those weeks, and so I like. I'm going to go Zonovan Knight. That's what I'm going to go with. And then the flex, we're going to go with. Um, I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson. It is a little worrisome with him because he's like this number 2 or number 3 option here for this offense, but he showed really good rapport with Carson Wentz earlier in the season as well, so that is also a positive. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go Jahan Dotson. Seacrip also need a running back and a flex. Evans, Monty, Akers, B. Rob, Algier, or Dylan. So at running back, we're going to go with B. Rob. Man, it's really close between B Rob and Algier. But yeah, we're gonna go B Rob and then flex. I'm assuming that's Mike Evans. It would be either Mike Evans or Algier. I think Algier is the safer of the two options, but Mike Evans could go absolutely nuclear today. You're in here earlier. I don't know if you heard the spiel on it, but the Panthers are really bad against opposing outside wide receivers. I think they give up like the top 3 most fantasy points to wide receiver ones on the season. They are not very good. They really struggle. JC Horn is out. It's also a big blow to that secondary as well. So I like Mike Evans. He is super volatile. He has not played very well. He is not scoring touchdowns, but I think some positive touchdown regression is heading his way. So I do like Mike Evans. If you don't want to go with that, the other option would be Algier, and I would just start Brian Robinson and Algier. Those would be the 3 that I would choose between, but I would lean towards Mike Evans and B Rob. Starting Devonta and Tyreek Smith, so love that. I really like Tyreek Hill as well this week, but I mean it's Tyreek Hill, so not really tell anything anybody knew. See, pick one at PPR: Zay Jones, Devonta Smith, or Ramondre Stevenson. I'm gonna go with Devonta Smith here over these 3, or with these 3 options. I do like Zay Jones. He's actually played really well this year, and then Ramondre is in a good spot. But I'm gonna go with Devonta Smith here in this spot against the Saints this week. Ricky, half point PPR, Marquise, Christian Kirk, and Juwan Johnson or Mark Andrews. Okay, so Marquise Brown or Christian Kirk. We're gonna go with Marquise Brown. It does feel uh not great, but with David Blau, we have seen David Blau though. I mean, he played. What was it? Was it Thanksgiving game? I think a few years ago with the Lions. I remember. I mean, he actually played decent. Like he's not like anybody great, but he's good enough to be able to support and be able to get this offense going. I mean, make some plays. And so I just slightly lean towards Marquise Brown. And then at running back, let's go. Or running back. At tight end, we're going to go with Mark Andrews. I get it with Mark Andrews. He's just not been the guy we were hoping to be. but I do like him here in this spot against Pittsburgh. Nigel flex option: Kittle, Ayuk, Algier, Mac Jones. This is Kittle. Actually, I do like Algier a lot. Love Algier. Talk about it, but Kittle has just started to come on with Brock Purdy at the quarterback position. I mean, he in a great spot against the Raiders, but George Kittle has been the tight end one in 2 straight weeks against Seattle and Washington, scoring 20 plus fantasy points. And those, I mean, he is really started to come on. So really like George Kittle here in this spot. If you didn't want to go with him, the other option for me would be Tyler Algier, Isaac or Isaac. Sorry, Minshew or Wentz. Thanks again. Good luck with all those chips. Yeah, let's go. We're going Minshew here. We talked about Wentz, but there's no way I'm playing him over Minshew. Let's go with Minshew here. Side note: I have Evan Ingram in at tight end, so that's fine. I mean, if we're playing double tight end, we can play double tight end. It's not that big of a deal. But I, you know what though? I think if it was me, Nigel, and I know it's risky because Evan Ingram has played really well recently, is maybe start Kittle and then go with Algier because I think Algier is definitely a safer option to any tight end really. I mean, outside of like Kelsey or I guess Kittle or Hawkinson, I guess and I like Evan Ingram. I have him as a top 5 tight end this week, so it's not that. Um, I just don't. But he also has a lower floor too. I mean, if they don't throw the ball as much this week, and he doesn't see the ridiculous amount of targets because he's seen 7, 15, 10, and 8 of targets in the last 3 weeks. But again, spot they don't really need to rush and really do a whole lot here. Um, I think Algier would be a little bit safer. So maybe that's what I would do. It'd go Kittle at tight end and then go with Algier in the flex. Alex, the 2 running backs, Montgomery, Zonovan Knight, and Pacheco. Let's go Zonovan Knight and Pacheco. Um, you know what? No, I think let's go Monty here. It's not a great matchup, but against the Lions, run defense has been better. But I think Montgomery's a safer option to Bam Knight. I do really like Zonovan Knight, but man, that could go so many different directions with him. And with him struggling, it's not like he's somebody that's like a locked in role. So I think with this one, I think with having Montgomery, I'd go Monty and Pacheco here. I think that's what I would do. Yeah, I was thinking Kittle over Mac Jones. I do have Ingram as well. Yeah. I have a dilemma. I don't trust Teddy Bridgewater against the pass, but I have Tyreek, but also have Devonta Adams with unproven quarterback. I don't think that's really a dilemma. I Tyreek is fine with Teddy Bridgewater. We've seen it earlier in the year with him. He was absolutely peppered with target with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. You look at Teddy Bridgewater in those games. I think he saw it was 15 targets and 14 targets in those games. I think is what it was. Yeah. No, excuse me. It was 14 and 15 targets in those games. Like, I'm not worried about Tyreek Hill. He's going to see a massive amount of targets today. And as not to mention that the Patriots are going to be without a lot of their defense today. Marcus Jones is going to be out. That's their like speed corner. So I'm fine with Tyreek Hill. I think he's in an absolute great spot. Last one I'm debating, Pasty or Bucks. Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks here in this spot. Um, I don't really like either one of them. I don't think either one of them are like fantastic options, but I would just lean more towards the Bucks. I actually think uh the like if the Commanders would be out there, I think they could be a better option if you have either one of them. Um, I just have the Bucks a little bit higher. I have the Bucks at where were they at? Ninth. And then I have the Patriots down at 16. I just don't really like them this week. They're missing a lot of pieces. Their defense is completely banged up. So if I have to go with one, I'm going to go with the Pats or the Bucks. Sorry. For my flex, Alex, I have Lockett, Chark, and Zonovan. Little concerned with Lockett's injury, but he's logically the pick. Yeah, I agree. I think it's Tyler Lockett. If he was that banged up and wasn't able to play, I think you wouldn't see him out there. I think he's fine. So I would go with Tyler Lockett here. Let's see. What in my pockets? Um, Ravens versus Jags. I'm gonna go Ravens here. Itty bitty South City 650. Bad idea stacking Minshew, Devonta Smith, and Goddard. Should I start Christian Watson in place of Smith? Thing is, we don't know if Christian Watson's going to play. Like I said, unless something has changed, which I have not seen recently with Christian Watson, then we don't know if he's going to play. He's supposed to be a game time decision. And so if we don't know if he's going to play, this game happens at noon. Now, do I love this? I mean, in DFS, I think it's great. Like if they go off, I mean, this makes the most sense, right? Because you want your quarterback with the wide receiver and then the tight end to carry it along. So yes, I think as far as the stack that you have here, awesome. Like, but it also understand that if this game doesn't shoot out or that they don't have to throw the ball as much here, that this stack could kill you. It's just I don't mind it, but I'm not playing Christian Watson over Devonta Smith though. I will say that. So that's what I would do if I was me. I think you're fine with it. I don't know if Christian Watson's going to play without knowing that. I think that's what we would do. Also, Zonovan Knight or Zach Moss. I'm going to go with Zonovan Knight here over Zach Moss. Been a hell of a season, fellas. Thank you both for the great content this year and can't wait for Win Fantasy next year. I can't need a truth teller. It is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be right back here. The DFS show is going to be here all the way through the Super Bowl every Thursday, and not even that. We'll be doing content. Really, we're going to keep going. Like we're not going. We're not stopping. We're not taking any sort of a break here. Content will continue to come from this channel throughout the off season, and we'll just gear up more and more as each month goes by. We'll start getting more and more content from us. So don't go anywhere. Murdoch, 72-605. Chargers are going to be able to move the ball. Yeah, they should be fine. The Rams defense has been good, but you can move the ball through them against through the air. They are really good against the run through the air. It's where they have struggled. And that kicker, we're gonna go with Dicker. We're gonna go with Dicker the kicker. He's been really solid this year, or really solid recently, and I love the spot for him. So Ricardo, let's go. Tyler Algier or Fournette. I'm going to go Tyler Algier. It is a little bit risky. Fournette, obviously, with a big upside, but I do like Tyler Algier here. Appreciate all the advice this year. Hey, no problem, my man. We're here to help. Hope you win this week. And like I said, jump into our Discord if you're not already and get into the Fantasy Playoff Challenge. It should be a lot of fun, with all the boys and, like I said, and girls, actually, I should say. I don't want to discriminate because we do have quite a few in our Discord. So, but it should be a lot of fun there. And then for my flex, should I start Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Kamara, or Kenneth Walker? Oh my lord! I'm gonna go Aaron Jones. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Aaron Jones. This is a tough group to pick from. I would rank it Aaron Jones, Adams, Kamara, then Kenneth Walker is the way that I would rank this. Facebook, Nathan Guest, Gabe Davis, Hollywood Brown, or Dotson half point PPR flex. I'm gonna go with Hollywood Brown. No DeAndre Hopkins. It makes a little bit more sense. Gabe Davis. I'm a beast of kids. I'm gonna go with Hollywood Brown here. No Gabe and Gabe Davis is a super boomer bust. Dotson, I like him, but I can't bitch Hollywood Brown. So, anyways, I appreciate everybody checking it out. Let's get out of here. Let's get this. Let's get these dubs this week. I appreciate everybody rocking with us this week. I will see you guys here again very shortly next week. Let's get some W's this week. Have a good weekend. Let's win the chips. Bye.